What's good, everybody out there? This is your boy Nestars coming to you from the town here in the 206 with another important update. Before we get there, though, let's get with some important business. Uh, uh, some respects to the channel. You know what I mean? Before we get into the big beef of the news, let's make sure that we hit the like button. Let's see if we're not subscribed, that we do subscribe, and also make sure to hit the notification bell so we can keep giving you updates like the one we got here. First on deck is the good news is, despite all of the factors working against my boy, he is been released. He is out on bail. And as I was mentioning, in an earlier broadcast and an earlier live, that I mean, this is just a white collar crime. Why would you want to feel a kind of way like, he's a threat? He doesn't have anything like that on his record. Like, he might run, and I'm sure there's probably all types of possibilities that, I mean, it's the U.S. Attorney's job to say, well, he's from the Dominican and he has money and he has family and connections and all that old BS they like to try to run against you. That's their job. But the truth of the matter is we're just looking at a simple white collar crime, and they are talking some numbers though. To be honest with you, and we're gonna get into that. But the truth is OMI deserved bail, and he got it. He's already back at home chilling, and that's a good thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put to bed all of the speculation and all of the so-called rumors and whatnot about our guy OMI and what's going on with his case. We're going to use some actual and factual documentation. Yes, it's called paperwork. That's what it is. And to be honest with you, I'm glad a lot of this paperwork is already coming out preliminary wise, because we don't like to speculate, and rumors start swelling about somebody put it in my ear. This might be related to our boy G Herbo. Mind you, his name is nowhere near that paperwork. So shout out to G Herbo. This is not a superseding indictment at this point. So we can say safely that it has nothing to do with that. So let's kill all that. Let's squash all that. No, it's not a PP loan fraud. Let's squash that one. Let's just basically, let's read what, let's say some reliable and notable news sources over in Philadelphia had to say. It's the Philadelphia Inquirer. What they were saying, that OMI, who is known as Bill Omar Coscarello, is a person who has been posting a lot of, of course we all know that, his high-end cars and footage that he does here, which I was lucky to be a part of some of those lives that he did as an admin. Shout out to homie again for giving me that opportunity. I believe in you, bro, and I'm glad that you believed in me. So with that being said, he was doing well on this internet, as we all know, and essentially, some things came out about, some of the financing that he was able to sustain that with, which was the IPTV stuff and all that stuff. That stuff was all initially identified earlier, the first time that the feds came to the house and seized everything and whatnot. We know what that's about. So we knew that this was ongoing, okay? And it didn't just go away. So, and with that being said, OMI just stuck to his guns. He regrouped, he regrinded, and he came back up. I mean, I don't know too many people could have took a hit like that to the chin and got up, but that shows some real character and some championship bloodlines up in there to be able to get up off the mat and keep swinging. So shout out again to my man. So with that being said, they were also saying that it, with all of the success, that it came crashing down this week as federal authorities accused them finally better, let's see, of heading one of the most brazen and successful digital piracy schemes of the last decade. And that's quite a title. You know how they like to blow stuff up, though. You know, they like to blow stuff up, make it sound like it's something it ain't, and whatnot, just to kind of, try to make the person shake in their boots, when they start talking you to in court. So they just give a synopsis of what happened. That the company it was ran under names like Gears TV and Gears Reloaded, all that stuff we're familiar with, and they were restreaming. Let's see, media content like Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, and a bunch of other live cable channels, pay-per-view events for low subscriptions as low as $15 a month. No wonder he got rich, because I $15 a month, and I get all that plus sports on top of it. So evidently, some of that stuff coming from Comcast and Verizon and DirecTV, they had a bitch to push. They were like, man, this ain't cool. It's a direct violation of digital copyright law, and they're so-called profiteering off of their cheap stream service, and they want action ticks. So essentially, this going on, and there were some loopholes in this business. Streaming, mind you, as we know, is a new type of entity. It's a new horizon. They're still trying to formulate the laws, but copyright has always been in effect almost since they started preserving people's works and arts and media content and audio and visual and all that stuff. All that stuff can be filed and copywritten, as we know. So OMI, for a while there, was, finding a way and a loophole to make this happen. And so eventually this is the accumulation of it all, to where they're saying, okay, enough is enough. You've had your last run on this. And they're basically trying to tighten up the vice grips on our boy. Now, as you can see, these paperwork that I'm flashing before you here on the screen has a lot to do with the actual case. It is the case, in fact, and it reads pretty conclusive about the counts and the stuff that OMI is facing. And I'm going to read some of it to you. Just give me a second. See if I can pull it up to give you a good synopsis of what exactly he's looking at. It's pretty heavy, you know what I'm saying? They were talking a whole lot of some of them were start dates, and if you guys, anybody who's been in the game before, they know what that feels like and what that means. And let's just face it, the feds, they come at you with big numbers, but ultimately in the end, what they try to do is they try to, get you to cop out, as so to speak. So I'm going to read to you from the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, okay? And essentially there are 3 people that are being indicted. See if I can make this bigger for myself so I can read it smoothly for you. That obviously Bill Omar Cascaquillo, OMI, Jesse Gonzalez, and Michael Barone were charged by indictment with crimes arising out of wide-ranging and lucrative copyright infringement scheme. They don't play about this stuff. I mean, I remember back in the day when people were bootlegging DVDs. You remember that? There was a shop next to me, and it was some immigrants, some people who had visas, everything. They had bootleg, gear, and they had bootleg DVD. Everything they had was bootleg, and it wasn't but about 6-7 months that I seen the feds come in and knock it down. So copyright infringement and stuff like that has been around for a while, as far as the way that they address those stuff. So according to the indictment, from about March 2016, like I said, this is the original indictment From 2016 until at least November 2019, the defendants operated a large-scale internet protocol television, IPTV. I'm very familiar with this stuff, this type of format. As many of you know, I own an IPTV platform, but it ain't about me. This is about OMI. Theft scheme in which they fraudulently obtained cable television accounts and then resold copyrighted content to thousands of their own subscribers who could then stream or play back content. The defendants are allegedly made fraudulent misrepresentation to banks, which is, you know, again, money laundering type activities and whatnot, and merchant processors in the effort to obtain merchant processing accounts. During the period of the scheme, the defendants earned more than $30 million. Carrasquillo, in particular, alleged converted a large portion of his profits into homes and dozens of vehicles, including high-end sports cars. When agents attempted to seize those items pursuant to the judicially authorized warrants, Carrasquillo made false statements, which is an indictment count in itself. You cannot lie to the Fed. You can actually be arrested and detained for just that purpose. That's why it's always best to have a lawyer present who will do the speaking for you, and you can stick by your Fifth Amendment rights until they take you to jail and whatever, and you go have your day in court. That's always the best thing to do. So when the agents attempted to seize those items pursuant to the judicially authorized warrant, Carrasquillo made those false statements about it and attempted to hide some of those vehicles, including a Freightliner Recreational. I remember that Freightliner Recreational. I saw that and I was like, man, I want one of those so bad. And that McLaren sports vehicle. So, obviously the feds, when they say they want something, they're trying to come and get it, you know? And that's what we're looking at here is you know, are you going to cough up, you know, what they feel like is to be ill-gotten gains, or are you going to ride it out and try to fight and swing? Well, it's tough to fight and swing with the feds, especially when they can come with a gazillion troopers and whoever else at your doorstep like they did today. So here's some of the stuff that they're looking at. They are charged with, and here's the actual count coming from the District of Philadelphia. Here is 1 count of conspiracy, 1 count of violating the Digital Millennial Copyright Act. Now listen to that terminology. That is a new term. 1 count of reproduction of protected works, 19 counts of public performance of a protected work, 4 counts of access device fraud, 6 counts of a wire fraud, 3 counts of making false statements to a bank, 16 counts of money laundering, 2 counts of making false statements to law enforcement officials, and 2 counts of removal of property to prevent seizure, and 4 counts of tax evasion. In total and if convicted, Mr. Carrasquillo faces a maximum penalty sentence of 514 years in prison. That's a fucking star date. Come on, man. As well as supervised release. Really? Oh, after 514 years, I get supervised release? Thank you. There's some silly ass shit right there. Fines, restitution, and asset forfeiture. Okay, now mind you, now the feds, they like to come with those type of numbers, those mind-boggling numbers to, you know, more or less, you know, give you a good spook, like, you know, where you're seriously considering, like, man, I think I just need to go on ahead and just cop out or whatever, man, and you know, that's their game. That's their game, you know, and they're good at it, you know. One of the things that I was impressed with the feds is that they gave OMI an opportunity to go home. He's home now. And that's a good thing because, I mean, we all know it's just as you can hear, the type of stuff it is, it's not a violent thing. It's not drugs. It's not guns and weapons. I believe the only weapon that was there was registered to Mimi. She's entitled to have that. She's legally afforded that right to have a weapon, and she did. She had it registered in her name. Check. So with that being said, there are no signs of any type of violent crimes, any type of drug-related crimes. These are just paperwork crimes. These are what they call white-collar crimes. And my man Omi is back home. So according to a live that he did earlier, he mentioned that they are kind of riding Mimi right now. This is the kind of stuff they do, you know, when they're trying to get at you for, you know, basically pressure your significant other into feeling like, you know, maybe we can get her to you know, squeeze and turn on me. That ain't gonna happen. Mimi's there. She's there. And she don't feel like she don't even know what's going. She don't know what's going on. And she's like, hey, I'm just working here, and this is my guy, but I don't know about all the business. And I'm here to say that is very much the truth on what Omi does and what he was involved in. This was before her time. Okay, just putting that out there. So, but what he said is that they have frozen Mimi's account, and they are definitely, you know, trying to pressure her into whatever. But they froze her Instagram account. So, you know, it's getting shady. It's getting shaky. You know what I mean? But I think Omar has a good attorney. Obviously, he's out right now. This is like one of the few times I've seen a person get out from the feds. You know, salute, where they didn't actually have to sit down, and the U.S. attorneys weren't able to convince the judge that he's all this and that, a threat and a flight risk and all of this stuff. None of that came into play. So he's got a good attorney, and he's got good support. He did a live earlier, thanking everybody. Go check it out. I'm gonna put this paperwork in the description when this is over with, and for those of you who actually want to go to the federal site on this to see exactly what it is, you are more than welcome to do so. Tell them Nestar sent you. I'm gonna be following the rest of this case, and once again too, shout out to G Herbal, man. You clean, bro. You clean. That's all that matters at the end of the day. I don't give a damn what nobody say. If your name ain't on the paperwork, it ain't no work being put in like that. We cannot slander the man. So shout out to G Herbo. So with that being said, all y'all showing you love. Thanks for stopping by the live. Continue to support my man Omi. And yeah, with that, man, we are out. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.